All right, now this, of course, has been an extremely hard time for the people in Britain, and it remains to be seen as to how things, of course, pan out from here on. Because this, at this moment, looks like pretty much anyone's election, and no one really knows as to who is likely to come out on top. But Boris Johnson, he's not officially put in his name, but he could, of course, be, as we said, in the running. Meanwhile, leaders of the EU nations have gathered for a summit in Brussels. On the agenda are Russia, China and energy. Now, talks about energy, in fact, went on till the early hours of Friday, but no consensus has been reached on the topic of gas pricing. Now, the cost of living crisis is crippling Europe. Inflation is rampant. One solution was proposed to make things easier, putting a cap on the price of imported gas, but not everyone is on board. Now, Germany is leading the group of rebels. Thursday's meeting was supposed to iron out the differences, but there is a lot of ironing out that still remains to be done.
The time for small steps is over. What we need now is giant leaps in order to replace those small steps. We can get our bills under control. We can cushion the social and economic impact of the crisis. We can bring down sky-high energy prices. But we can only manage it if we do it together.
Now, strong words, but acting on them is always going to be tough. Even before the meeting began, hopes of reaching a consensus simply were not very high.
It will be probably difficult, but this is very important today or tomorrow to send a very strong signal that we are determined to act together in order to have a positive impact. This is fundamental for our households, for our families and for the businesses across the EU.
Now, the fears were proven correct. Despite hours of tense negotiations, there simply was no agreement on capping gas prices. Some countries are unsure whether caps will work. Now, there were fears that gas producers will just sell to Asia if a cap were to be implemented. Now, Germany and other rich EU nations were accused of only looking after their own interests. How? Well, by using their coffers to buy up all the available gas. After all the long talks, EU leaders walked out without much of a show.
So first of all, the Commission made some initial proposals. Now, what we're making explicit is that we're asking for concrete decisions and therefore implementation. And so, in the coming weeks, what we expect are not theoretical proposals, but on the basis of the first proposals made in recent days by the Commission to move forward.
The reports, in fact, say that Germany and the Netherlands are still holding out on to the price caps. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has said that his country had got an exemption from the price caps, and this is because the price cap will not apply to long-term gas supply deals. And this includes Hungary's 15-year deal with Russia's Gazprom. In the end, the EU leaders just agreed to keep studying gas prices. And German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said that guidelines for the next steps had in fact been decided. But his words don't inspire much confidence that the issue will be resolved anytime soon.
We have set precise guidelines along which the energy ministers can work out the concrete details unanimously. If this does not work, the Council has to work at it again. But I do hope, obviously, that ministers succeed in finding unanimous agreement among all 27 member states.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.